Hello everyone, welcome to ThinkComputer YouTube channel. This video is all about Introduction to Python Standard Library Modules. So there will be three modules which I will be explaining in this video: Math, Random and Statistics. So what is Math module? The Math module in Python is a built-in module that provides mathematical functions and constants for performing calculations such as square root, powers, logarithms, trigonometric functions, etc. So importing the math module is necessary. You have to write import math in all those programs where you will be using functions of math module. You have to write import math on the top. Okay. After that, you can use all of the functions which are in the math module by writing math dot. So math dot pow, math dot sqrt, this way. This is the list of all the functions under the math module in Python. So we have sqrt for finding square root, we have pow for finding power, then we have ceil for rounding up number, we have floor for rounding down, we have a factorial function for finding factorial, we have fabs for finding absolute value, we have gcd for greatest common divisor, then we have trigonometric functions, we have sine, cos, tan, we have logarithm functions, we have log 10, then exp. Then there are two constants in math module, pi and e. So if you want to know the value of pi, for example, you can simply write mat.pi, pi, that is, so it will give you the exact value of the pi. It is already stored in this constant. Similarly, we have e also for Euler's number. So this list shows us all the math functions with their return types and examples. So starting with mat.sqrt, which is for finding square root, the return type is float. We have two examples for each function here. Okay, so square root 25 you get 5.0, square root 81 you get 9.0. So as you can see, the return is 0.0, whatever the value is coming, 0.0. Okay, like it is 25, it's a square number, so 25 square root will be 5.0, but if you do 30 then it will be 5 point something. Okay, but 0.0 is added. Basically the result is coming as a floating point number, so it's not int, it's float. The return type is very important to know for all the math functions. Then we have pow function with xy, x is the base and y is the power. So you have written pow 2, 3, that is 2 to the power 3, so it gives you 8.0. The return is coming as float. Then pow 5, 2, that is 5 square, that is 25.0. Then we have ceil and floor. So ceil will round up the value, that means increase the value, and floor will round down, that will decrease the value. Both of these functions here in Python returns in int format, that is whole number. So ceil of 4.2, so it will increase the number and next complete number you get, that is 5. Then 4.9, again this is floor, so reduce the value, so that will be 4. 4.9 reduce the value rounding down, so that's 4, the previous complete number. Ceil of minus 4.2, that is negative number, so increasing the value minus 4.2 will make it minus 4 according to number line. We are following number line. Okay, then floor of minus 4.9, decrease it further, so we get minus 5. So both of these functions, ceil and floor, these are returning whole numbers, so the return type is int, and these are basically increasing or decreasing the value to give you the next or previous complete number. Then we have factorial method, factorial function. So you want to find out factorial, those of you who are coming from other programming languages, you know, you have to write a loop and then take a variable and then do a product to get the factorial. Python says no, I have a function. So Python has a function for factorial. You want to find factorial, just simply write factorial and in bracket you can write the value. It will give you the factorial of that number. So math.factorial 5 gives us 120. Factorial is what? It's a product, right? Factorial of 5 is what? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So you get 120. Similarly, factorial of 4, that is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, so you get 24. Fabs is for absolute value. In many programming languages the function name is abs, here it is fabs, so it's giving return in float format. So basically abs is absolute value, fabs is absolute value. It will basically convert the negative number to a positive equivalent value, and then if the number is already positive, then positive number will return. So minus 9's fabs will be 9.0, so it removes the minus sign, and minus 3.5's abs is 3.5 itself. But if you pass a positive number, suppose you're passing fabs of 5, so result will be 5.0. So no change, but the 0.0 will be added because the return is float. Then we have a function for GCD also. In other programming languages, you have to write a program for finding GCD. Here we already have a function. So GCD, you know, greatest common divisor. So you want to find out GCD of 12 and 18. So that is 6. You can use the GCD function. This function can also be used for comparing more than two numbers. So you want to find the GCD of 12, 18 and 13 maybe. So write 12, 18, 13. Or maybe you want to find GCD of 5, 12, 18, 16. So write 5, 12, 18, 16. So number of arguments in the bracket, that is in the parenthesis, can change. In the GCD function you can have more than two numbers also and compare. Return is int. These are all trigonometric functions. So all are having float return. Examples are given. Then we have logarithm functions. So these are logarithmic functions here given. Two are there, log and log base 10. Then exp is there. Then pi and e, which I explained. These are the constants. There are few more examples of ceil and floor for better understanding. So ceil of 4.2, that is giving 5, that is increasing the value and giving you the next complete number. 7.8 again increasing, giving you 8. 3.0 here result will be 3. Basically, if the value is 0.0, then it will not change the value. So 3.0 will return 3. If it was 3.000001, then also it would have given you 4. It would have increased the value, but 3.0, it returns the same number. Then negative numbers, minus 4.2, it will increase to minus 4. Minus 7.9, it will increase to minus 7. So you are noticing that the fractional parts weightage is not important. In the fractional part of the number, you have 0.1 or 0.5 or 0.9, that doesn't matter. Okay, if any fractional part is there, then it will activate and give you the next number, the higher value. Similarly, floor will do for the lower value, that is rounding down. So 4.9 will round down, means reduce to 4. 7.1 will reduce to 7. 3.0 again, it will not do anything, it will return the same number. And then minus 4.9, so that's negative number, reducing will make it minus 5. Minus 7.2, reducing it will make it minus 8. Random module in Python. So the second module that we are discussing is random module. So the random module in Python is a built-in module and it is used to generate random numbers and perform random operations such as selecting random items, shuffling data, or generating random values. So this method is very useful. Okay, this method under this module, it is very useful for generating random numbers, which can be used when you are making games. If you are writing program for games, then it is very important. So for using methods under random module, you have to write import random. Okay, on the top of your program, you have to write import random, and then you can use all the methods under random module. There are three methods which I will be explaining. First is called random, second is called randint, third is called randrange. Okay, so these three methods I will be discussing, and these are under the random module, these methods. Okay, so first is random.random. Random is the module name and random is the method name here. Okay, so random method under random module, it returns a random number between 0 to 1.0, where 1.0 is not included. So it is 0 to 0.9999, something like that. So it is a random number. What is a random number? Basically, it is a number which you cannot predict. So if you call this function, you run the program, every time it gives you a different number. Okay, so you call the function once, maybe it gives you 0.45. Next time you call this function, maybe it gives 0.91. Next time maybe 0.01. So it is completely random. Actually, it is called pseudo random number. If you are interested, you can search about what is pseudo random number, but we can call it random in programming. Then we have randint. So randint will return a random number between the given range which you have specified. So there is a and there is b. Okay, less than equal to is used. That means the given value will be between a and b inclusive of both ends. So if you want a random number between 1 to 10, so you can write random.randint and 1, 10. So it can give you 1 also, it can give you 10 also. Between 1 to 10, any number can come, including 1 and 10, means including a and b, the lower and upper limit are included. Then you have randrange, where you can specify the start, stop and the step value. Okay, remember the difference between randint and randrange is that in randrange the stop is not included. Suppose you are writing 1, 10. By the way, it can be used with or without the step value. So in this example, the step value is not used. In this example, the step value is used. Here it is written 1 comma 10. So the start and stop are being used. Okay, but here we have 0 comma 20 comma 2. So there is start, there is stop, and there is step value also. So step value is not compulsory to use. You can use it or you can skip it. So I was saying that in rand range, the stop value is not included. What I mean to say is that if you use randint, you write 1 comma 10, so it will generate a random number including 1 and 10, anything in between of that, I mean including 1 and 10. So 1 can also come, 10 can also come, in between 1, 10 any number can come, correct? In rand range, if you write 1 comma 10, so 1 is the start and 10 is the stop, so 10 will not come. So it will be between 1 to 9, anything. It can come 1 or 2 or 3 or up to 9 can come, but 10 is not included. Now what is the step value? Well, step value means the jump. Okay, that means if you write 0 comma 20 comma 2, so it will give you random numbers like 2, 0, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. That means there will be a jump of 2. Suppose you write 0 comma 20 comma 3. Then you can get 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Are you understanding? If you write 0, 20, 4, jump is 4. So it can be 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. So it will jump, change the value according to your step value. Okay. So these are the three functions which are very useful under random module. The first function in this list, you can see the return type is float. So this returns a floating point number. So result comes in point. Okay, remaining two are return type int. Examples in Python to generate a random number between 1 to 6. So you have played many games where you have to throw a dice, and then based on the result of dice, then the decision is made that what will be your move in the game, like snake and ladder, like Ludo. So this can be useful in such cases. If you want to design your own game, you want to prepare your own game, so you can use this code, okay, to generate that result of throwing the dice. Okay, so using the random function, if you want to do, so write random into 6 inside of int, because you want to convert that to int, plus 1. So this will generate a random number between 1 to 6 inclusive of both ends. So 1 to 6 means including 1 and including 6. And same thing with randint, if you want to do random.randint 1 comma 6. So a and b are given inclusive of both ends. Using rand range 1 comma 7, because the stop is not included in the rand range, so 7 will not be included. Now I will be explaining you the last module, which is statistics module. So Python statistics module is a built-in module which is used for performing mathematical statistical calculations on numeric data such as mean, median, mode, variance, all that. Okay, to use statistics module, you have to write import statistics. Okay, so these are the three methods which I want to explain: mean, median, and mode. Definition: so mean is to return the arithmetic average of all the values. Return type can be int or float based on what you are passing. This is how you use the function. You specify a list. This is a list, you can see square brackets. So you specify a list and you pass it in the mean method. So it will return you the average. Okay, so output comes 20 in this case. Then if it is 2, 5, 8, 9, the output is 6. That is the average. Okay, what is mean you already know. Na? So median returns the middle value after arranging the data in ascending order. Again, int or float. These are two examples given. Then we have mode function. Returns the most frequently occurring value. So return type can be depending on the data. The number which is having maximum frequency in the list, that will be returned. So that's all for this video. Thank you everyone for watching. In the next video, I will be explaining the concept of division, that is slash, then floor division, that is double slash, and modulus, that is the percentage sign.